welcome to my February wrap up. So February turned out to be a really good reading month for me, even though I only read 6 things, because I really enjoyed 90% of those and had a new favourite in there. So I'm going to tell you all about them. The first thing I do want to talk about is Elantris, because I started and finished it as part of the Cosmere along, and oh my god, I'm in love with it. I know I'm starting out with the really good note, but oh my god, I'm in love with Elantris. Quite frankly, I was really nervous going into it because obviously I have read a couple of Brandon Sanderson's books before and they were either really good or I didn't really like them and I ended up DNFing them, and in this one I absolutely loved it and I'm pretty sure it's going to be on my favourites books of 2020 because I absolutely adored it. It was absolutely brilliant. I do talk about it more in a vlog that will be uploaded at some point this month after I have finished the 2 short stories. But all I will say is it was genius, it was amazing, the plot twists and everything kept me on my toes the whole time, and it was a without doubt 5-star read. The second thing I read was Monstrous Volume 2, and that was a pretty good read, I have to admit. I didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped I would, but I still did really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the artwork, I like it where the story's going. I'm just having maybe a slight problem connecting with it because I think it may be a bit too complicated. I think maybe it would have been better as an actual novel, but in saying that I still had a good time and I gave it 3 stars. I also read Fables Volume 3 and loved this one. I love Fables, I have to admit. I always describe it as a bit like Once Upon a Time for adults because it is a lot more adult because it talks about assassins and sex and stuff like this, so I would say it's definitely more adult based as a comic, but it was amazing. I love where the story is going, I love all the twists and turns, I love all the like different characters and seeing how they interact with each other, and now that there's this massive plot twist at the end is going to change everything for the future of these characters, and I cannot wait to see where it goes, and I gave this one 4 stars. I next managed to read Come Tumbling Down by Sean Maguire and thoroughly enjoyed this one as well. I love Jack and Jill as characters, I love the Wayward Children series in general, and it was just generally a really good time, and I gave it 5 stars in the end. I would say it's not as good as some of the previous books with Jack and Jill, like Every Heart's a Doorway and also Down Among the Sticks and Bones, but it was still a very interesting story that kept me on my toes the whole way through, and I just loved being back in the moors essentially, and I love seeing Jack again, so 5-star read. I also then read Trail of Lightning, which I didn't enjoy as much, I've got to admit. It was a really nice idea and post-apocalyptic urban fantasy based on Native American folklore, and that side of it was interesting, but for me the tropes in this really let it down, and also the fact that it was a bit love triangle-y in places as well between her and 2 guys. She was constantly sort of pining for the both of them, which isn't really for me. Like I always say, love triangles not for me in the slightest, and also the fact that the main character didn't realise that one of the characters in this had powers, despite the fact that I guessed it in like 2 chapters. Kind of annoyed me. I know it's supposed to be a big plot twist and stuff, but for me personally it felt pretty obvious, so that slightly annoyed me a little bit. In saying that though, the writing was quite solid. I quite enjoyed the writing style of this. I like the world building and stuff like that. It was just the tropes in here weren't for me, but I still gave it 3 stars. And then I ended February on a high by reading Blade SOG Like, which was amazing. This is a modern day Alice in Wonderland retelling where basically people like Alice go into Wonderland and kill nightmares that are created by human fear, and what happens when A, she wants to quit, B, her mother really wants her home because of all of the police brutality in America towards POC, and the main character is a POC, and also what happens basically when nightmares get out and the Black Knight returns. And I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed this. I love the world building, I love the writing style, I loved and lived for the pop culture references. Honestly, there were so many Buffy references in this, I felt 16 again, and that was brilliant. I love the fact that the main character cosplayed and everything else, and it was so well written that every single time the main character got in trouble with her mum, I kind of felt like I was in trouble with my mum for being out, even though I hadn't left the house at any point while reading this book, which was quite a weird one. But I guess that really sort of lends it to the writing and really tells you about the writing in this, because I genuinely felt like I was in trouble even though I wasn't, because of how this was written, which was a really cool thing. and I really loved it. I loved the cliffhanger ending. I am now desperate for the next one in this series. I can't wait to get it. I'll fingers crossed get it for my birthday, and in the end I gave it 5 stars. As for what I've been watching and reading this month, I've been watching a hell of a lot of Westworld, because obviously Westworld is back this month in March, and I wanted to rewatch series 1 and 2 beforehand so I could just remember exactly where I was in the show, what's happened, who everybody is, and just generally all the timelines and just how everything sort of got to where it is in series 3, because I keep on forgetting. It's been like 18 months. I can remember like the Man in Black plot twists and stuff like this, but I can remember basically nothing else. So I decided to rewatch that, and I am loving it like I always do. I am such a nerd for Westworld. I absolutely love it. As for what I've been listening to, I have not been able to stop listening to Halsey, specifically You Should Be Sad, and also Nightmare. And I've also really recently gotten into Little Mix again. I always like to shout out to my ex, Black Magic, and also Woman Like Me, but now I'm really into their songs DNA, Hair, and a whole lot of others essentially. I'm just really into the girl groups and the girl bands at the moment, and I am loving it. And that's it for my February wrap up. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below with what you've been watching, reading and listening to in February. I'd love to know. I'll also leave a link down below to all my social media if you want to check it out. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time guys, bye.